Hello, hello. Buenos dias, buenas tardes, whatever time it is for you today. Welcome in. Welcome to our past tense hacks masterclass. And at the end, I'm going to be revealing something very special. So please make sure you hang on till the end. But let's get into it. Go ahead, let me know where you're watching from. And as we go through, please feel free to participate by typing your answers into the chat. Okay. To the beginning here. Encountered with a lot of people that they feel like they do okay when they talk in the present in Spanish, but then when it comes to talking about the past, everything kind of falls apart and they're just not sure how to do it or what to do. So there's lots more to the past tense than what we're going to get into today, but today I'm going to show you an easy way to speak about the past where you don't have to get into a lot of complex conjugations. There's really only one conjugation to learn, and then a quick way to work with what we call the past participle, and that's going to get you starting to speak in the past. Okay, so first talk about time, and we're going to talk about the past. We're probably going to want to know our days of the week in order to do that. Notice that in Spanish, the days of the week are not capitalized. So I'm going to just read them, and you see that we're going from Monday to Sunday: lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado, domingo. And then notice if we want to say on Monday, what we say is el lunes. So that's literally the Monday, but that's how you say on Monday in Espanol. If you want to say on Mondays, you would say los lunes. For last Monday, it would be el lunes pasado. And then for every Monday, todos los lunes. Let's practice. ¿Cómo se dice every Tuesday? Every Tuesday. Okay, so that one would be todos los martes. How about last Wednesday? Last Wednesday would be el miércoles pasado. El miércoles pasado. On Thursday, okay, remember for on, we're going to use el jueves. Last Friday, el viernes pasado. Every Saturday, and as I'm reading these, try to think of saying them in Spanish. I'm just going to turn the fan here because está caliente or hace calor. It is hot. El viernes pasado. And then every Saturday would be todos los sábados. So notice with sábado y domingo, when we want to say every, or on Saturdays or on Sundays, we're going to change it to sábados or domingos. The rest of them you don't need to change because they already end in S. Last Sunday, el domingo pasado. El domingo pasado. And then on Monday, remember the Monday, el lunes. Muy bien. Okay, and let's practice our months. So notice again, with months, they're also not capitalized. So we have enero, febrero, marzo, abril, mayo, junio, julio, agosto, septiembre, octubre, noviembre, diciembre. Okay, the months are a really good way to practice your pronunciation. As you notice, most of them are pretty similar to English, but there are some key differences, and sometimes those words that are the most similar to English words are the words we need to practice our pronunciation with the most, because our tendency can be to pronounce them like English, but we need to make sure that we're pronouncing them in the Spanish way. So, for example, marzo. Notice it's a soft s sound. It's not marzo, it's marzo. So just whenever you see a Z in Spanish, just pretend like it's an S. It's just a soft S sound. Abril. So notice you want to stretch your mouth out, have that E sound where the I is. Abril. The I in Spanish says E. So make sure you're doing that. Junio, Julio. Make sure you're using an U sound for that U. Junio, Julio. Notice agosto. It is an O here. So agosto. One to really practice is octubre. Make sure you're giving a nice O sound on that O and then an U sound on the U, octubre. And then for in January, we use en enero, and last January, el enero pasado. Muy bien. Okay, let's here. So I'm just going to read through these. You can practice them on your own later. But we have ayer, yesterday, anoche, last night, anteayer, the day before yesterday. So that comes from antes, which is like before, and then before yesterday. So anteayer is the word for the day before yesterday. El día, the day. Los días, the days. That's why you say buenos días, because that's el día. La semana, the week. Las semanas, the weeks. El mes, the month. Los meses, the months. El año, the year. Los años, the years. Last week, la semana pasada. Last month, el mes pasado. Last year, el año pasado. 1 week ago, hace una semana. 1 month ago, hace un mes. 1 year ago, hace un año. 2 weeks ago, hace 2 semanas. 2 months ago, hace 2 meses. 2 years ago, hace 2 años. Okay, let's practice some of these. ¿Cómo se dice last week? La semana pasada. Notice you're going to say pasada because it's la semana. So you say pasada. Last month would be el mes pasado. So because it's el mes, we're going to say pasado. 1 month ago. Okay, so remember we're going to use hace and then the time period afterwards. So this one would be hace un mes. 5 years ago. So this one would be hace 5 años. Hace 5 años. Last year, el año. Make sure when you say año, you have a nice ñ sound in there. El año pasado. 3 weeks ago. Hace 3 semanas. 2 months ago. Hace 2 meses. So notice months is meses. 1 month, un mes. 2 months, 2 meses. 4 days ago. Hace 4 días. 6 months ago. Hace 6 meses. 10 years ago. Hace 10 años. Okay, muy bien. Okay, so take a look at this. Okay, so here we have this verb is the verb haber. So haber, Haber. And this is how we're going to say I have, you have, she has, etc. No, this is not the kind of have like I have a pencil, right? I have a pencil would be tengo un lápiz. That's the verb tener. This is a different kind of have. This is the kind of have that we use when we say things like I have walked, or you have eaten, or they have run. It's that kind of have. Okay, and this is how we work with it. We have yo a. Remember, the H is going to be silent, so we're not going to hear these H's. Yo a. Tu would be I have. Tu has. You have. Ella ha. She has. Nosotros hemos. We have. Vosotros habéis. You all have, informal in Spain. And ellas han. They have. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to combine this with past participle. So that is past participle is what you say when you say I have walked. It's that walked part, or you have spoken, that spoken part. Anytime we have an AR verb, how we're going to make this is just drop the AR verb and we're going to add ado. So for example, hablar, to speak or to talk, becomes hablado, which is spoken. Nadar, which means to swim, becomes nadado, swum. Comprar, which means to buy, becomes comprado, which is bought. Viajar, which means to travel, becomes viajado, which is traveled. Okay, so now we're going to put together. So we're going to do that I have, you have, she has with one of these past participles. So we have I have spoken, that becomes he hablado. He hablado. You have swum, has nadado. Has nadado. She has bought, ella ha comprado. We have traveled, hemos viajado. So with hemos, we already know that's we have. If you want to, you can say nosotros or nosotras, but you do not have to. They have spoken. Ellos han hablado. I have bought, he comprado, so I could say he comprado or yo he comprado. You have traveled, has viajado or tú has viajado. If you were speaking formally, you could say usted ha viajado. If we were speaking in Spain to a group informally, vosotros habéis viajado, or in Latin America to you all, ustedes han viajado. So you covers a lot of things in English, and there's different words in Spanish, right? Tú for informal, one person. Usted for formal, one person. We have vosotros, which is for in Spain for an informal you for a group, and then ustedes, which in Latin America is you all in any context. In Spain, it's you all in a formal context. We have swum, hemos nadado, they have bought, han comprado, or ellos han comprado. Okay, so as I'm taking a sip of water, try to practice these on your own for a minute. And you can always go back to this, rewind, sit down, write them out. It's great to write them out. Studies have shown that when you write using pen and paper, that helps you remember. Say them out loud, right? It's important to not just write, because writing is great, but make sure you also say it out loud so that when you're speaking, you're more comfortable. Okay, muy bien. Okay, for er and ayer verbs, what we're going to do is drop the er or ayer ending and add ido. Okay, so for comer, we drop the er and it becomes comido. For aprender, we drop the er and it becomes aprendido. For vivir, we drop the ayer and it becomes vivido. And then for recibir, we drop the ayer and it becomes recibido. Okay, so I have eaten, he comido. You have learned, has aprendido. She has lived, ha vivido. We have received, hemos recibido. They have eaten, ellos han comido. I have learned, he aprendido. And hopefully you have. You have received, has recibido. He has lived, ha vivido, or él ha vivido. We have eaten, hemos comido. They have received, ellos han recibido. Okay, muy bien. Okay, now there are some when we talk about these, what we call the past participle, opened, said, written, etc. So these ones are ones that do not follow that pattern that I just showed you of ado for the AR verbs and ido for the IR or ER verbs. So abrir becomes abierto. Abierto would be opened. Decir becomes dicho, which is said. And I encourage you, as I'm saying these, say them out loud. Escribir becomes escrito, written. Hacer becomes hecho, done or made. So hacer can mean to do or to make. Keep that in mind. Poner becomes puesto, which is put. Romper becomes roto, broken. Ver becomes visto, seen. Volver becomes vuelto, returned. Morir becomes muerto, died. Cubrir becomes cubierto, covered. All right, so now let's try some of these. I have opened would be he abierto. You have said, has dicho. She has written, ella ha escrito. We have done, hemos puesto. We have done, I was looking at number 5. We have done, hemos hecho. Hemos hecho para número 4. They have put, ellos han puesto. He has seen, él ha visto. We have returned, hemos regresado. They have covered, ellos han cubierto. I have said, he dicho. You have opened, has abierto. Okay, so take a look. Try to practice these on your own por un momento. Muy bien. Okay, I hope you have enjoyed the masterclass today. Please leave me a comment. Let me know how you liked it and if you have any questions. If you like this, I actually have a full self-guided DIY curriculum that is available to you. So this is, like it says, conversational Spanish, español a tu ritmo, which is like Spanish at your rhythm or Spanish at your pace. And I'm going to give you a little preview of this so that you can see everything that's inside. Okay, so here you can see this is a self-guided curriculum. And I'm going to show you everything that's inside. So this, no matter what level you're at, there's something here for you. We start with the foundations of Spanish basics. Then we go into building confidence with present tense and Spanish conversation. There's a real world Spanish unit. I mean, everything is real world Spanish, but this one especially emphasizes real world Spanish with travel Spanish and people and places. We go into deeper grammar with demystifying the past tense, which this lesson was part of it, but I go deeper into other ways that we use to talk about the past. And I also have a great unit on spooky Spanish, which is just all those different verbs that we tend to get confused on as English speakers. So I break that down for you. And then we have our advanced unit that goes into pronouns, but pronouns are very important. Things like it or him or her, right? So I teach all about that. Okay, so here's your level 1 foundations. In foundations, we're going over pronunciation. So I've been trained in pronunciation. I took a full class on that in Costa Rica when I studied abroad. So I teach everything that you need to know about pronunciation, your top conversation tips, all about time, and how to work with verbs in your foundations. Then when we go to level 2, we're building confidence. So you have your Spanish confidence present tense. So I teach you'll learn all about present tense here, regular verbs, irregular verbs, stem changing verbs, reflexive verbs, gustar, which is how we talk about liking things, and even future tense. And then a Spanish conversation. This is your easy present tense, easy future tense, and easy past tense. So the easy past tense is similar to what we did today. Then we have our real world Spanish. At the airport, local transportation, restaurants and food, and accommodations and activities. And you say every single one is going to have slides and a video. So in the version that you would receive, you would be able to click on these, and you'd notice some even have two videos. Some I've done two versions, and so it's just extra practice for you to get to try to go through it again. Maybe you listen once, you get the idea, and then you try the second video and practice and try to answer the exercises as we go along. So we have at a people in places, we have at a restaurant with friends, at home with family, and at the office with colleagues. Then in deeper grammar, we have the past tense hacks, which we worked on today, the preterite tense and putting it together, which is where we go into what's called the imperfect tense, and you really learn everything you need about past tense. Then here's our spooky Spanish, where we work on everything that can be confusing with different verbs. So we have ser versus estar, which both mean to be in Spanish. So when you talk about I am, you are, she is, how do you do that? And how do you know the difference between these two verbs? There's slides and two videos on that. There's por versus para. I've done two versions of that. So part 1, part 2 that you can see there. Then tricky verbs part 1 and tricky verbs part 2. So other verbs that people can get confused, I break that all down. And then finally, we have our pronouns. So intro to pronouns, reflexive pronouns, direct object pronouns, and indirect object pronouns. So these are all available to you. The way that you would receive this is by scanning this QR code, and that will take you to the page where you can receive that. So I hope that is something that you can enjoy and get into. And it's been something that's been developed over the past several years, and really something that's designed to get you speaking Spanish. All right, thank you so much. If you do have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment below. You can also look us up on our website, Uplifting Melodies Tutoring. There's a contact us form that you can fill out there. So please do that if you need to get in touch with us. But thank you so much. Hasta luego.